No Nose Knows. Written by Irrespective. Chapter 14. State of Being. Part 1. Morning, sweetie. Garbanzo called out to Lima while she strode into the pre-morning peace that premeditated the kitchen of the Zurst. He could not help but smile. This many years and the mare still had the ability to make his heart skip a beat when she walked into a room. Lima was one peach of a bean, and he would never regret the day when she made him the happiest stallion in Equestria. "Hey, hon," she replied, and she leaned over to give her husband a quick peck while she walked by. "Counting down the bread order?" "Yeah, looks like they shorted us a loaf again." Lima let out a small snort. "Maybe we need to find a new supplier. This is just ridiculous now." "I'll look into it," he replied, and then he looked up from the order sheet. "Sip got some tea ready, and paper should just be right over there." "Thanks. Anything good in it?" "I'm not sure. I just glanced at the bottom part. Looks like there was some big to-do in Canterlot yesterday." "Did we get another princess?" Lima moaned plaintively. "Probably." Garbanzo chuckled. "They're becoming a dime a dozen, aren't they?" "Yeah. I wonder what she's the princess of." "Poached eggs, I bet." "Be nice," Lima giggled, and she playfully nipped his ear. "Maybe she'll be the princess of wayward ponies and she can help Baked find his way." "So, are we talking about a princess or a life coach?" "Oh, hush. And get that finished. We still need the soup prepped." All right. Garbanzo chuckled as his wife grabbed the paper, placed it on the tea tray, and then walked into the main area. He then quickly finished with the bread paperwork, vialed it, and then began whistling as he started to fill the large stock pot with water for the Mindstrone. The sound of a teacup smashing into the granite floor tile out of the main area quickly ended the whistling. Garbanzo hurriedly shut off the water and quickly moved to check on Lima. "Hun, you alright?" he called out as he pushed the door open. Lima didn't reply, and what Garbanzo saw as he stepped through made him scramble in alarm. His wife was white as a sheet, frozen in place, and her eyes were wide in horror. The smashed teacup lay scattered by her feet in the chair, and the newspaper was scattered across the table before her, with some of the pages still floating down from the ceiling. "Lima, what happened? Are you okay?" he urgently asked once he reached her side. She let out a small whimper through a tight-lipped, horrified frown, and her eyes didn't move to meet his. Instead, one hoof tapped the page of the newspaper in front of her. "What is—" Garbanzo asked as he glanced at the paper, but then he did a double-take. His chest began to heave wildly as he grabbed the paper in both hooves, and his rear legs gave out at him as he read and began shaking. "What have we done?" he asked in gasping, breathless voice. "Morning, Auntie Sally, Auntie Luna." "Good morning, Cadence," Saucy replied with a warm smile. "Where is your husband?" "Out in the hallway having a discussion with Bean about the best bookball team. Shining is adamant the Thunder will take the conference next season, but Bean disagrees. They will probably just join us when they settle the matter. So sometime next week, maybe?" "Well, if they miss pancakes, it's their own fault," Saucy hummed to herself while she placed a plate down for Cadence. "So, how are things between you and Bean?" "You just can't help yourself, can you?" Luna quipped. "Nope." Cadence smiled brightly. She then propped her head with her hooves and put her elbows on the table and gave Celestia a very eager look. "Come on, I need details. How serious are you two?" "We are married. I don't think it can get any more serious if we tried." "Yes, it can." Cadence blew raspberry. "So, how's he in bed?" After a moment of absolute silence, Cadence leaned forward with a teasing grin. "Okay, maybe that's a little too far for just a week. You've done some snuggling under the sheets though, right? Kissing at the very least? Anything? Really?" "If you must know, no," Celestia slowly replied, her smile fading. "Bean seems to be hesitant to do anything beyond rubbing noses, and even then he's very cautious." Celestia could feel that smile returning. "He's so sweet." "Well, look at what he's working with," Luna cut in. "For his whole life, the only way he's known you is as Princess Celestia, the bringer of day. You're asking him to overcome 20-odd years of conditioning in a week. That is a rather large jump to make. He's probably afraid of bursting into flames if he touches you wrong." "Auntie Luna is right. You have to admit you're more than a little intimidating," Cadence added, while waving a forkful of food in the air with her magic. "Marriage is sharing." "I understand that. I haven't tried to push anything on him because of it, said Celestia. But you'd like him to maybe give a little bit more, Cadence said knowingly, without you telling him. Well, we are married and we are planning on staying together. Why shouldn't we? I agree, you just need to encourage him a little. Encourage? Here we go, Luna groaned with an ill-hidden smirk. Cadence is going to be in rare form today, I can tell. Of course I am. I'm gonna get my beloved Aunt Silly's love life going, she replied with a smug grin. 1,000 years with nobody to truly claim as your own is quite long enough. She's got a point, Luna conceded, as Celestia sat at the table with her food with the both of them. My dear sister deserves more than a beanbag. I am not calling him beanbag. Probably for the best. You'd forget he was a pony and you'd sit on him. How do you know he wouldn't like that? Cadence said with a knowing bob of her eyebrows. You two are insufferable, Celestia proclaimed with a snort of amusement. No, the trick is to start small and work your way up, Cadence continued. I had to do that with Shiny because he's a lovable dope. He kept locking up on me whenever I'd flirt with him. Seduce him, but just little bits at a time, and only here and there. But don't go overboard, Luna warned. You can gain much by simply being you. I would say you're doing pretty good with this already. From what I see, Bean's little flame of love for you has come about just because he has seen Selly instead of Celestia. Lure him in, yes, but also still be you. Right, Cadence agreed. Honestly, just try 1 or 2 things to start, and then spread them out. Keep booping him, but maybe add a little nip on the neck, or a quick kiss on the cheek here and there. Shiny likes it when I go for the ears, she giggled. We play keep away, but he always loses. Ears are popular, Luna agreed. Especially on Earth ponies. The neck is good too. And you two really think he'll like that? Celestia said with a curious look. Oh, he'll like it, Cadence said slyly. He'll just be super embarrassed about it first. He is cute when he blushes, right? Celestia didn't say anything, but playfully intrigued look that suddenly overtook her was answer enough. Shiny is too, Cadence said with a smug grin. I have an idea. Something we can try and we'll see how Bean reacts. Luna groaned playfully. This should be good. I'm telling you, Shiny argued as the princess finally entered the dining hall. Wild Wind's going to take them all the way this year. But she's always on the injured reserve list, Bean protested. Yeah, but when she's healthy, they're unstoppable. And when she's down, they lose everything, and they really need to trade her and get some more balanced players in. Gentilcolts, good morning, Celestia greeted. Bean and Shining stopped in mid-stride, looked at the casually neutral faces of the princesses, then at each other. What's going on? Shining asked. Breakfast, but not for much longer. Have a seat. I will bring your pancakes out shortly. The two then warily sat down, but next to each other. Bean looked at Luna, who was quietly and politely eating, and Shining's eyes were on his wife, who was sitting with a pleasant smile on her face. Princess Luna. Bean dared to offer a greeting. Bean, she simply replied. A pleasure to see you again. Did I do something? He jumped to the question. I'm quite sure you have. It is rather hard to be alive and do absolutely nothing. No, I mean, did I do something wrong? Not that I'm aware of. Do you wish to confess? Bean gulped and left the question unanswered. This reeked of some kind of setup, and even Shining was looking worried. The Empire's prince then decided to use a tried-and-true tactic, start apologizing to see if that makes his wife happy. Granted, it was always a gamble, but it was all they had to work with at the moment. Hey, I'm sorry I held Bean up in the hallway. We should have come in sooner. No need to apologize, my dear Shiny, Cadence replied evenly. We understand. Shiny immediately clammed up. That had not worked, and if he kept going, he'd make things worse. Here we go, Celestia cheerfully announced as she entered. The pancakes might be a bit cold, but you know a warming spell, don't you, Captain? Wonderful. Now I'm afraid I'm late for day court, so I'll meet you both later. I'd like to go over some items relating to the Empire while you're here. Cadence? Coming, she called, and she quickly stood. You're leaving? Shining asked as Cadence moved over to Celestia. I'm gonna go help with day court today. Oh, well, okay. I guess we'll catch up. We'll see you both later, Cadence called over her shoulder, and the two princes began to leave. Bean suddenly felt a furious heart burning in his cheeks as his eyes locked onto Celestia's swaying hips. Did she always walk like that, or was she putting a bit more allure into it this time? Why was he still watching it? He couldn't stop. He was entranced and... a beat of confusion worked in. Was he really attracted to her sway? Was he actually enjoying what he was seeing? Celestia teasingly flicked her tail as she left the room, an impressive feat given the ethereal nature of it. Bean's eyes stayed locked into the doorway as he tried to come in terms with what he had seen and felt, but he did hear Shining giggling like a love-struck idiot. Bean, my friend, he said with a nudge to Bean's ribs. You and I have to be the two luckiest aliens in the whole of existence. I've yet to find a better pair of hips than on my Katie, and I bet my horseshoes you're feeling the same about Selly. A pleased smile began to show on Bean. You know what? You're completely right. Did he really? Celestia snickered furiously. Both of them did, they replied. For as yellow as he is, he blushed like a lit match. See? Cadence said smugly. Now, don't do that again for a little bit. Just throw it at him every now and then. Flirting like that will get things going for you. Thanks, Cadence. Celestia pulled her niece into a quick hug. Lulu, thank you as well. Luna smiled and nodded. It was my pleasure to assist, dear sister. I believe I shall leave you, though, and retire for the day. I'll see you tonight, then. Sister replied with a quick hug, and she watched her sisters retreat for a moment before turning to Cadence again. Well, shall we go have lunch? What are they serving today? I asked for daffodil salads. I hope Bean will actually be able to eat this one. Why wouldn't he? It appears my chefs have been using too much salt, Sister replied as they walked towards the kitchen. With his background, he notices nuances like that, and he has a hard time eating. So he's a picky eater. No, he's not, she defended. He just has a certain threshold for sodium. Picky, Cadence replied. Dear niece, I'm going to have him cook something for you to prove my point. He made a minestrone soup a few nights ago, and it was the most flavorful soup I've ever had. Are you talking about me? Bean, Celestia said warmly. As a matter of fact, we were. How long have you been there? I just came around the corner and saw you two, so only a couple of seconds. All I caught was minestrone the other night. Yes, I was just telling Cadence about that. Might it be possible to request another demonstration of your cooking prowess? You can make anything you like, soup or no soup. You want me to cook something for you two? He repeated. I'm sure Shiny would like to eat too, Cadence replied. Bean had a sneaky smile on his smug face now. Whatever I want to make. Yes, Celestia answered. She then leaned down to his ear. And if you cook something extra delicious, I will personally see to it that you receive a fair reward. She then pulled back and smiled lovingly at his furious blushing. We go. Another fantastic chapter and one I thoroughly enjoyed. I love Celestia's teasing so much. What else I love, not teasing, what else I love to thank are my wonderful Patreons. Thank you my tier 1 Patreons Squall Windfeather, Rainflicker, Starlight Blaze, Dreamless Portal, Dying Tiny Equine, and Stewhex. My tier 2 Patreons Chase LeMaster, Sword Brother and Mordred, Solus, HKH4 aka Texture, and the Animated Ghost. And of course a large thank you to Silent Titan. I appreciate you guys' support so much and it means a ton to me. That aside, however, I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'm also going to put in a little blooper. I might start doing that if you guys enjoy it, at the end of my videos. However, this has been Firehearth. Have a wonderful day. Probably for the best. You'd forget he was Pony. You'd forget he was Pony? I forgot he was Pony. That's going into the fucking end of the video. Good morning. No. Gentle Copes, hello. Whoa.